All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm here with the great Dr. Lisa Marie Lee. I am Dr. Joseph J. Burt Miller Jr., and together we're bringing you Docs and Docs, where two doctors provide insight on the latest documents from both a cybersecurity and HR perspective. Good evening, Dr. Lisa. How are you doing?
I'm good, Dr. Joseph. How are you?
I'm excited. Tonight's episode is going to be actually pretty special. I will put a disclaimer out. Tonight's episode may be a little longer than usual, but because we're doing a live demo tonight, so I'm
Mhm.
actually looking forward to this. So as we mentioned from last week, that we did want, on the topic of security, account security. We talked about, you kind of touched on like using the use of hardware tokens, so we're following up on that. So that's why this episode is going to be primarily on that. I'll give you a little bit of background of hardware tokens. We will, after the episode, provide links that kind of goes more in depth for anything that I did not cover. You'll be able to find more of that documentation, also some live, some videos as a good resource as well for you to check out if you're interested. Also, if you plan to purchase a token for yourself in the future. So we'll have that for you after this episode. So hardware tokens. First, let me get up this this page and we'll be good to go. All right. What is this on? Okay. Okay. Here we are. Let's pull that up.
Mhm.
Let's get this fixed. Okay. Boom, boom. All right. All right. So let's get started.
Mhm.
All right. So hardware tokens. Hardware tokens are typically small devices that maintain a sort of a credit card or a keychain fob form factor. The most straightforward hardware tokens look identical to a USB flash drive and contain storage that holds a certificate or unique identifier, often called dongles. More complex iterations incorporate LCDs, biometric readers, wireless devices, and additional features to refine security. So many hardware tokens contain an internal clock that works in unison with the device's unique identifier, an input pin or password, and other potential factors are used to generate a code that usually outputs to a display on the token. So this unique code changes typically every 30 seconds, but may vary depending on the vendor. So, and as we talk about the benefits of hardware tokens, because you may be thinking like, all right, you know, what's the sell like? Well, why would I consider a hardware token? The National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, recommends implementing multi-factor tokens as an additional layer of security. This action reduces the chances for um, unauthorized attackers who got access to legitimate credentials to reuse them and successfully impersonate privileged users. A 2019 Microsoft study shows that 99% of automated passwords attacks were stopped by implementing multi-factor authentication. 2019 study conducted by Google alongside researchers from New York University and the University of California, San Diego, concluded that utilizing security tokens for two-factor authentication had a 100% prevention rate against multiple account takeover methods, including automated bots, bulk phishing attacks, and targeted attacks.
It's a big
So,
deal. Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. Um, So the use of hardware tokens also provides an administration benefit. It simplifies the action of provisioning and deprovisioning passwords by using hardware tokens. So when employees leave an organization for whatever reason, proximity tokens can help automate the workflow necessary to reset or deprovision multiple account passwords.
Mm-hmm.
The flexibility or the administrators and users make it a great asset to a well thought out security, defense, and depth strategy. So, additionally, a hardware based authentication makes continuous authentication possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll just take a little break here.
Yeah.
Just what we talk about defense and depth. So the defense and depth strategy is like you want to have multiple layers, for your security. So for your accounts, for your assets, or digital assets, I should say. You kind of think about it like how you secure your house. Having a defense and depth strategy. You put locks on your door. You'll have an actual security system. You'll have cameras like outdoor cameras. Your doorbell cameras. Um, some people may even have dogs in outside. So,
Yeah.
so just to try to kind of relate, what it means when we talk about defense in depth, you're adding, multiple layers of, in this case, security to protect those valued assets that you don't want to get into the wrong hands.
Okay.
So there is a comparison that we go through when we're talking about hardware tokens. We also have software tokens. So we have hardware 2FA, and
Mm-hmm.
again that's two-factor authentication versus software 2FA.
Okay.
So if you are familiar with hardware 2FA, and if you're not, don't worry. You're in the right place. You're docs and docs tonight. This is where you need to be tonight. One of the top benefits of hardware two-factor authentication is phishing resistance. So Cisco's definition of phishing attacks are the practice of sending fraudulent communications that appear to come from a reputable source. It is typically performed via email. The goal of this deceptive action is to steal sensitive data like credit card and login information, or to install malware on the victim's machine. And it is a common type of cyber attack. Hardware 2FA is more leak resistant than software 2FA. Software 2FA works on the basis of a shared secret between user and server ahead of time, where the passcode is derived. However, if the shared secret is leaked from the server, anyone can use it to generate the correct passcodes. And again, those may be watching. As I said before at the beginning, I have links and resources that really break it down, diagrams and everything like that, so you get a full, complete understanding of what we talk about here. So
I'm gonna stop you right there real quick, Dr. Joseph.
Sure.
Layman's terms for those that may not know the difference between hardware and software. So the hardware version would be more like the hardware token that we're speaking about, correct?
Right. So yeah,
there would be a software in the computer.
Right. Let me just find something.
Oh,
I saw my desk right now.
2FA, when we say 2FA, you mean two-factor authentication, correct?
Right. So let's say you're logging into your account. You may enter your password or your PIN, but now that won't be enough. You need, like, as soon as you enter that PIN or password, now it's going to be for that, maybe that 6-digit code or what have you, and that's part of that. So we're kind of used to the SMS two-factor authentication, where it may send us a text with a maybe 5 or 6-digit number, whatever the case may be, depending on the vendor. Send that out, and then you have to verify that number. It's the same number once you input it. Usually like on a website or even on an app. So hardware tokens would be like a. I'm
gonna share the image.
Sure.
That you had sent me. I don't want to. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So as I was talking about before, where some have like LCD displays or LCDs, they will display a random, unique number, like probably like every 30 seconds or so, again, depending on the vendor. and it'll have that code. So when it's prompted for that code or from your token, you have to put in that number after you enter in your password, and then it'll authenticate it. Once it matches up, then it'll allow you access. Software is, again, software 2FA is that's more, like I said, kind of the best example would be like SMS 2FA, where you'll get a text message like once you enter in your password for your account, using password for your account, then it's going to prompt you for that code. It's going to send you a code to your phone number, please verify, and you put in that code. So that's the difference. Hardware is something you can carry, it's physical, you can touch it. Software, you can't. It's typically, look, most people use it is the phones and maybe tablets, that goes to your usually you'll get like a SMS, or sometimes even email, cases like that. It'll send a code to your email address and ask you to verify what that code is. So that's the difference between hardware and software 2FA.
Okay.
So let me see where I'm at now. Okay. So now we're going to a bit of a concept. We're talking about UTF, and that's universal second factor. So back in 2012, Google and YubiKey signed a partnership to co-create the UTF. UTF is an open standard for two-factor authentication based on public key cryptography that would remove the need for the user to verify that they were at the intended website. So after extensive testing of the USB token created by YubiKey and Google, they joined the FIDO Alliance. The FIDO Alliance board, along with the technical specifications to the protocol. Now you ask, what is FIDO Alliance? So, I'm thinking of a dog, but no, it's not a dog. It's about security. So FIDO Alliance, or Fast Identity Online, enables password-only logins to be replaced with a secure, fast login experience across websites and apps. So this is accomplished by using standard public key cryptography to provide strong authentication and leave zero data at rest.
Okay.
And lastly, on this part, in 2019, the World Wide Web Consortium, or W3C, announced Web Authentication API, or WebAuthn, the new global standard comprising the implementation of FIDO UTF security keys in most modern browsers. So by that time, Google already eliminated phishing attacks by having its 85,000 employees use hardware tokens. So I mean, that should tell you something, just how effective and how much, I guess how much they trusted for Google to say, hey, this is going to be the standard. We're using hardware tokens to secure our accounts and assets.
All right, I finally got it to work.
All right, so there we go.
By myself.
So this is great. So yeah, so this is what the demo portion for tonight is going to be on. We're going to be using this right here. So the YubiKey 5C Nano, it is a form of a hardware token. So you'll especially for something that is small, if you're not gonna, it is something that you're gonna use for multiple accounts on your PC, whether laptop or PC tower, what have you. Typically you just leave it plugged into your computer, because I don't know, during our prep, you saw me struggling trying to get this little thing out. So yeah, it's really meant not really be messed with. You just plug it in, leave it in, and that's pretty much it. So but that's the token that we're going to be working with today, and that is made by YubiKey. As I mentioned, that was it was I guess the brainchild from between YubiKey and Google, put in that research and work together to create the standard for UTF security. All right.
I think I'll jump in now while you're
sure
clicking through. as you can see, look how small this is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really, really small. And that alone kind of demonstrate the cost effectiveness of why a company would probably like to consider hardware tokens as a layer of security. It's also user friendly,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the ease of use with it. I just can see, and then the another way to help enhance compliance and things like that. It's just I could see something for ease of use for new entrepreneurs, definitely, that are not really sure how to protect their assets and their information. This would be a great first step outside of using other methods as well as software and C drives, but this would be another added layer that would be cost effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one thing I will add, may like a negative or a downside to this, is that given that it's so small, it's if you lose it, it's a wrap.
Yes.
So that's why I say to just plug it in and leave it in.
Mm-hmm.
So you do run into that, especially if you do have this set up with multiple accounts, or on your PC. Yeah, I wouldn't try to really mess around with it, or in an event that something happens to your PC. Um, yeah, that is a downside or a negative,
Mm-hmm.
or a strike against a hardware token, is that if you lose a hardware token, it can create a bit of a headache in getting those accounts unlocked, unless you have some backup measure
Yeah.
implemented or put in place.
Okay.
Um, all right. So now, don't worry, we're almost done here, folks. Just this last part. All right, so now we're going to just quickly talk about TOTP, and that's time-based one-time password, versus SMS, so short messaging service. So kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but going a little bit more in depth with it here. So SMS 2FA, also called text message 2FA, is a type of two-factor authentication which a user receives a short one-time password. So that's what I was talking about. You get it through a text message. You log into your account and then say, "Hey, verify the code we just sent you to your phone."
Mm-hmm.
So you get it through text message and enters the OTP next to the password to gain access to the account.
Mm-hmm.
Now, TOTP, two-factor authentication, is a type of two-factor authentication whereby, to gain access to the account, a user enters their password and a one-time password generated by the app on their phone or dedicated hardware key fob. Now, SMS 2FA is easier to compromise than TOTP 2FA. So since in fact text messages are sent to the SIM card and not the phone itself, the
Mm-hmm.
attacker may try and intercept SMS messages in one of many ways. So we have SIM swapping, SIM hacking,
Oh.
um, and it, and SIM attacks are some of the known methods hackers have been using to break SMS 2FA. So, for example, in a SIM swapping attack, a malicious actor contacts a mobile carrier and impersonates you to get a copy of a SIM card sent to their address.
Yeah.
Once they manage to assign your phone number to the new SIM card, they can receive your SMS 2FA passcodes and access your account at will.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, meanwhile, TOTP codes are harder to intercept than SMS codes because they are generated on an app installed on the user's mobile phone, or a physical OTP token owned by the user. So, since TOTP codes are only valid for 30 seconds, a single code is of little use to an attacker if they cannot use it fast enough to gain a single time access to the account. That is why attackers prefer to try and generate their own valid codes. However, to do that, an attacker must get to know the value of the seed used to create consecutive codes. For that, the hacker needs to either steal the user's TOTP token or somehow break into the authenticator app on the user's phone. Both of these options are possible, but they require much more technical skill, which makes them much harder to perform than most SMS 2FA attacks. So, yeah, and you'll kind of hear this if listening to prior current cybersecurity podcasts, news outlets, what have you. That more and more experts are kind of shying away from when we talk about multi-factor authentication to not use SMS as a form, because it's very it's highly vulnerable, or you have a high rate of success of breaking gaining access to someone's account by using the SMS two-factor authentication than a hardware token. So, and that's why kind of we're talking about this now, as we hopefully to educate and for our for those watching to understand like how important it is to have a hardware token, or at least consider it. Especially when we talk about some of your prize online assets. You want to get that the best security as you can. So that is all I have in regards to that. Obviously, you guys some in the chat.
Oh.
See, Simone. So she says, "Good idea on the backup. I would likely lose it." Yeah. So like I said, that is a drawback with the hardware tokens. But in this case, as we're doing for the demo today or tonight, I just recommend just keeping it plugged in. Just plug it in, just leave it in. Don't try to mess around with it. So that would mean that you have a dedicated port on your laptop or PC. So that is something to maybe consider if you have a laptop that doesn't really have too many ports already. In this case, for my laptop, this is using the USB-C port, and mine comes with 2 ports, but one is already used for the power to my laptop, and the other one is open. I've never used it for anything else, so this is actually the first time it's being used. So that is something as to consider too. Like if you are going to dedicate a port, just know that you're not going to be taking it out. That's something you're just gonna make up in your mind. Say, all right, I'm gonna leave it in this port, and that's it. And she says, "Is there another safety measure you would suggest to prevent an attack outside?"
I think.
Go ahead.
I know. Like yours is more of a simpler version of it. Let's put it back up there so she can see it again. Oh, I closed it. But I know we didn't really touch on the biometric features that some can have and how they can be where it allows them to be more versatile and offer different layers of security. I guess.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up.
I thought those were really, really cool. And I looked it up a little bit, the LCDs and the biometric readers and wireless devices. Like it can get really, really in depth with different features that it can offer. And I thought that was really cool. I know we're kind of speaking on more of a different level of it, a lower level of it, but there are higher levels that come with this as well.
No, right.
Like so included softwares and things like that.
So it's like RSA or hardware tokens. They're like I said, they're small devices. They look like a fob, they're hardware fobs, but they have a LCD screen or they have an LCD, and it'll display that that 6-digit code every like I said, every 30 seconds. So you also have to it'll show like a little timer too, so you know when it's about to change. At least the newer ones do. I don't know if the older ones will do that, but it'll show like a little timer when it's getting ready to change a code. So if you're trying to enter into a website and the timer's about to be over, maybe you should wait till it generates a new code, or else you're gonna get an error. No, yeah, RSA tokens are but those are good, or any type of hardware token that will give you that that 30-second code that will generate a code every 30 seconds. We're talking about biometrics. That's another great way as well. I have one for myself that I have. So I have an external um, biometric fingerprint reader for my laptop. You can get one as well. I mean, you can find them on Amazon, you know, wherever, Best Buy. They have them in all different types. So yeah, you plug it in, you go through your setup, and then it'll integrate with the Windows, well, Windows and of course Apple, the Apple OS security as you log in. So as opposed to, you know, so for Windows, I'll just keep it simple. So for Windows, when you log in, you typically would put in like your PIN. Or you could do PIN password, but now you have an option for biometrics. So if you have this plugged into your laptop, now it'll give you the option to use um, you know, the fingerprint reader if you have your laptop open. But in
Mhm.
my case, I have a docking station, so my laptop is closed, so that way I can use my dual monitor. But if you do have, if you're using your laptop's camera, that's an option as well. You know, using your iris, just like we use our, you know, for, you know, the latest iPhones and
Mhm.
I guess you know, Samsung phones, what have you. They have that as an option where, you know, facial recognition, iris recognition to log in. So uh, the one I have is made by Kensington. I don't know if you can see it. It's very small. So this is a fingerprint reader. So it's a US. You connect through USB,
Yeah. I,
and then
all right. I looked it up on Amazon. I'm gonna show this screen.
you gonna pull it up. All right, cool.
Yeah, there we go. There we
There
go.
we go.
Joseph, I'm here to assist.
Perfect.
Seeing the pricing is
See,
pretty good too.
all right.
Hmm.
So you see that, yeah, that second one there.
This one.
So that plugs in, yeah. So that plugs into, yes, that plugs into the USB, that top portion.
Mm-hmm.
Then that round portion there, that's where, of course, for the biometric.
So you put your
Um,
finger right there or whatever. You touch it right
yeah,
now. Okay.
and they have different. They have, you know, so many different more. You know, especially as you scroll down, that one's. I mean,
Yeah.
that one's heavy duty. I mean, but
That's
I
it.
don't want to scare nobody. You can find different price ranges.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
I just let you know, I did not pay
Range.
no.
Different ranges I see.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't know why that's there.
that's pretty cool too for the that's integrated within the door. So you just
Okay.
put your thumb, or you know, you get your thumbprint and fingerprint, and
Oh
it
wow. Yeah.
authenticates you to get in. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
But yeah, there's so many different implementations. So you have that as part of the. So you have the USB Nano device. So you plug it into. So you leave it into your laptop PC, and then it has the biometric reader integrated in there. So you just, of course, like the demonstration shows, you just get your thumbprint or fingerprint on there, and authenticates you to log in.
Nice. So many different styles and
Yeah, so many different ways, so many different implementations.
different
Um,
levels. So very affordable for anyone. You know, I really like that idea. So no one should be shying away from it.
right.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Joseph. Go ahead.
Very good. Very good. I appreciate it. Um, let's see. Let's see. We got some more. Yes, it's okay. Dedicated port. Yes. Yeah. Um, the biometric features. Oh, it's so tiny and cute.
I know it is,
Yeah.
right? Thinking the same thing. And then the price ranges. So it's like what the lowest we saw was $18. Like there's no reason for you not to take advantage of that. You
Yeah. And again, we'll provide links. I can include, like, even like we just talked about, as far as biometric readers. We could put that on there as well as part of the notes, so you all can see and make a decision for yourself as to how you want to best secure your digital assets. That's really the main point.
know? Yeah.
So I'm not being sponsored by nobody. We're not being sponsored by anybody. So we have no, you know, attachment to either one. The main thing is that we're hardening our security. That's really the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take it a step above. All right, it's demo time. Let's do it.
Wait. I forgot my sound effect. Hold on.
Right.
Let's get it.
There we go.
Let's get it. Let's learn how to use this.
All right. So all right, I'm gonna stop sharing this. All right, so this is what we're gonna install today. I know it's kind of backwards, but yeah, it's the YubiKey 5C Nano.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, so this implementation will utilize your USB-C port on your laptop or PC. Um, Now, their website again, we'll provide the link where they have many different, and even Dr. Lisa just showed that there are some other different implementations of what as it pertains specifically to YubiCode. They have the USB A, and that's like the traditional or the more common form of USB devices. You'll find that on there as well. Um, but yeah, for today, so my laptop, I have an extra USB-C port I'm not using, so I'm gonna use it. I did buy two. I have it on my tower, but it's so small, I don't feel like taking it back out again. But
Mhm.
but it's okay. It's just well, yeah. So this one says YubiKey 5 Nano. Yeah, it's a very small like USB. Like I said, it's very small, and I already struggled once today with trying to take this out. I'm not gonna do it again. But But again, I have that in one of my USB A ports on my tower. Um, just to let you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this now. And it does light up. Like once you install it, at least for this one, it has like two little lights on each side of it. Like once you plug it in, it'll light up green. Now, one thing we do want to make sure that um, I do want to reiterate is that you use the YubiKey manager.
Mhm.
And let me get that up. Okay. All right. So let me share. I'm gonna share my screen.
All right.
All right. So let's say you get your new YubiKey in the mail. UPS drops it off. You're excited. You break it out of the package. You plug it in. But before you do that, I recommend that you go to YubiKey's site. Again, we'll provide the links. You go to YubiKey's site and go to the YubiKey Manager, and you download that for your system, where they have Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. You want to
Mhm.
make sure that you're downloading the correct version for yourself. So, I think as with most folks now, Windows, you're going to choose Windows 64.
Mhm.
And if you're not sure, like as far as for Windows, um, if you need to see what version you have or what version of operating system you have, I can show. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. It's probably small, but you go to about within your settings, and then right here, I know it may be small, but under system type, it'll say it's in my case 64-bit operating system, x64. So that way that's the type of when it comes to these type of decisions, that's the type of device that you need to get,
Mhm. Okay.
or that's the correct version of the download that you need to make, I should say.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So let me bring this back. Okay. All right, so that yeah. So again, hit in this case 60 Windows 64.
Mm-hmm.
You yeah, and they have screenshots here, but I'm gonna bring up the YubiKey manager itself.
Okay.
All right. So this is the YubiKey manager. Again, I recommend you install this before you install your new YubiKey, because you need something that's we're going to be able to read
Mm.
the the installed key that you just got.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it'll pull up like so once you install it, it's going to recognize what type of key you have. So it pulls up and shows that yeah, I have the 5C Nano. That's correct. It'll show you your firmware version and the serial number for your YubiKey. Now, for different applications, the one-time password we talked about,
Yeah.
FIDO2 PIV cards, especially those like in the military may have PIV cards. That's a consideration as well. Now, the keys come with one. So we have two versions for the one-time password: is short touch or long touch.
Yes.
Short touch is already configured for you, like out of the box is already configured, so you don't really need to mess with it. Long touch, so that's if, and I don't know that at least came. Bring this up.
All right.
Now, yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see that little gold trim, like part of the device there. On the other side, there's another one. Yeah, exactly.
Gold.
Yeah, so there's two. It's on both sides of it. So you're gonna press it down, and so when you're prompted for a code, you press that down, and then it'll generate, or it'll authenticate you, and that way you can log into whichever account that you have it configured for. All right.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to log into one of my Google accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just go through the setup process here.
All right.
Let's get this ready.
We are learning, Dr. Joseph. Well, I am. I'm learning.
I'm always in learning mode.
Yes. But I guess I'll piggyback on what Simone said in the chat. Said that this is important because I work with sensitive client data. Exactly. I do the same. And then also as a researcher, I'm using sensitive data as well. That's why I think this is something that's so important, not just for professionals, but entrepreneurs, researchers, anyone. You don't want any sensitive information to get into the wrong hands. And it's just an easier way, I feel, to protect myself without the stress and worry of remembering numerous passwords. Like I've just redone all my passwords and I don't remember any of them. So now I have them like in secret areas. So, I can go get to that password because I don't remember them because I'm changing passwords all the time. So it's crazy. It's just a lot. And then with, I have two different computers. So that means I'm logging in one and I'm just going back and forth with all of that. And then also I'm using the C drive. So I have a password for that. So it's just passwords. Our lives are full of passwords. And I feel like this is just an easier approach for anyone, to kind of be less stressed about keeping your information safe. And it's affordable. It's an affordable approach as well. It's very cost effective. I'm definitely going to go and grab me a couple for me and my family. Thank you, Dr. Joseph, for all of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with it. All right. So here I'm logged into my Google account.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as much as a lot of folks are, they have Google accounts as well. Um, and I will say, not just because I'm doing it on Google doesn't mean other accounts don't have this capability as well. They do. You just have to check within your security settings, let's say for Outlook or what have you, or some other sort of email server. You just have to go within your security settings for your account,
Yes.
and they should have that security key option. But for tonight's demo, we're just using Google.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so you go to your settings within your Google account. You're gonna go to security.
Okay.
Gonna go to two-step verification.
Mm-hmm.
Get started. All right. So since I haven't set this up yet, I haven't set up the security key with this account yet. You want to go to show more options.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're gonna hit security key, and that's exactly what we need. So that's a small physical device used to sign in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Just gonna hit next.
Yeah. And as we see, this is the alternate version to using your phone, right, Dr. Joseph?
Mm-hmm.
Alternate version. So we normally would be relying on text messages or even your email account, but we're not doing that, which is a lifesaver for me because I'm going to have to be logging in. So that's another reason why it's a lifesaver. But we're going to be relying on the hardware to do it for us. And it's more of a safer approach because it's in your computer. So you don't have to worry about someone hacking into it unless like they could try, but they steal it and try to get into it. But you have this physical, tangible thing versus it being within a software system or in the cloud. Because mind you, everyone's using the cloud now.
Right.
And the blockchain, which can be hacked.
Now, there were a couple windows or prompts that didn't come up on the screen, so I'll just tell you what it said. So it when you register your key for the first time, is going to prompt you to kind of verify that make sure that this is what you want to do. You hit OK, and then now it's going to prompt the second window came up asking you to press the your security key. And remember I said before that little gold strip is on both sides, so you're holding on both sides of the Nano key. You press it like it's a remember when during the setup you have short press, a long press. So you do a short press for right now. I don't have the long press set up, so if I try to do a long press, it's not going to do anything. So do the short press. It did its thing, and then it said, "All right, you're good to go." Now you just name it, just in case you want to do this, in case you have multiple security keys installed. That way, you could decipher between which one you have or which one you're trying to work with. So I just pretty much keep it simple. Using the same name that it came in. So the YubiKey 5C Nano. I hit done.
All right.
And we're set.
Simple. That was simple.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. So yeah, on since 7:48 p.m. Eastern.
That was less than 5 minutes, Dr. Joseph.
Oh, it was good. So again, this is just one of many different ways that you could really take steps to harden your security, your online assets. Again, I guess the one thing I just want to make sure I make clear is that it's not a foolproof. It's just trying to make it harder for attackers. Let's not make it easy for them. Let's make it harder, make them work. So I just I don't want anyone to get any misconceptions to say like, if you do this, you're not immune. you're just taking your security. When we talk about defense in depth, when we talk about the scenario, talking about, we gave an example about your house, so you have the alarm, extra locks, dogs, cameras. That's defense in depth.
That's another layer.
Right. So what we're doing is adding more layers to our security, especially if we know we have, like I said, sensitive data that we want to make sure that it doesn't get into the wrong hands. We should be implementing defense in depth principles to make sure we keep everything secure. So that's it on that. I had a lot of fun doing that. I thought this was very good. I hope you all out there watching found this educational, and also, you know, if you have questions, you know, send, you know, hit us up, you know, respond to us on the post. I'm looking at the chat right now. Oh, Professor Roger. Hey, Professor Roger, what's going on? All right. So Simone said she learned some new things. Cool. That's great. That's what we want. That's what we want for everyone to do. I mean, I'm always in continuous learning. I'm always studying, looking at stuff. So
that's the goal. Learn something new every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Says LinkedIn private. I don't know who it is, but hey, LinkedIn private user.
I don't know how it came up like that.
Simone says, right, Dr. Lisa, I'm terrible with remembering passwords. Thanks for the info.
I know.
And you know, as we're talking about this, actually, you know, with more of the fallout that's happening with LastPass, and I think the latest, they said that the attacker was able to get into, I guess, an employee's account at home. So I'm like,
going on.
You know,
people are targets. They're definitely targets.
Yeah. And the more this drags on, they're losing more and more customers too. I mean, you know, as a customer, because I'll tell you right now, if you guys remember, I was a LastPass customer. You know, I used to stand by it, but like when that first hack happened, I was like, no, I'm good. I switched over to Bitwarden. And again, that's another form of a password manager. Just those, if he wasn't sure what it was or what we're talking about. But yeah, with the fallout with them, it just you know, continuing on, you know. So the more they talk about it, again, this negative press is really not good. So
that taps into what we've been saying, where we always say that, you know, employees are targets if they work for specific companies and things like that. I think we've spoken about that since the beginning of how employees can be targets, and even their family, to gain access to information. So it's interesting. And I think from an HR perspective, I think that companies need to look at different ways to protect employees within their homes, you know, because this is work information that was at the home, and someone came into the home and took it, and then from there hacked into the system. So that's very scary, and definitely some liability, maybe.
Well, yes, I agree that, but there could be some culpability on the employee as well if they're not implementing security measures at home. You know, we're talking about again, and making sure you're using strong passwords, you know, for your account. I mean, I think it's kind of ironic that a person working for a password company is getting,
like, what's going on with that?
So, but no, I mean, if I don't really know all the full details with that yet, but so the reason I say there could be some culpability on the employee himself if they're not employing or implementing strong, you know, cybersecurity practices at home. So, but if they were, then yes, then you may have a case. But no, you know, it seems to be an ongoing saga with them.
Yes, it's definitely confusing and creepy and a little scary.
Yeah.
A learning lesson for others.
Say LinkedIn private again says great job, Dr. Joe. Thank you. Oh, sister. Is this my sister? Hey. You got to fix your you got to fix your LinkedIn. I'll talk to you later how to say your name. But no, that's cool. Simone says makes sense. More security features makes it a little harder for sinister stuff. Thanks a bunch. Yeah. You know, like again, we're talking about defense in depth. We're hardening our online assets. You know, we're just making it harder. You know, we shouldn't make it easy for anyone to, especially if we have very sensitive data that we have. You know, we got to do our best to protect it. I don't believe anything is, you know, secured, you know, foolproof or anything like that. But again, it's just adding extra layers. Let's not make it easy for them. That's all it. That's all it is. She says, "I don't know how to fix it." I'll talk to you afterwards, okay? LinkedIn private says, "I don't know how to fix it." Okay, all right. Well, appreciate it. This was great. Lisa, Dr. Lisa, thank you again. Rocking with me as we do. I don't know if you want to have any last words before we sign off.
I guess I'll reiterate what I said earlier. I think the use of hardware tokens is a great way. As we said, it's not foolproof, but it is a great way to add another layer of protection to secure your data and your information, and make sure that you're taking the right steps to prevent any hacks or breaches. And this is great for entrepreneurs, professionals, students, even kids, to keep information protected. It's a great way to increase security, to make a better approach to the two-factor authentication, which I think is dope as well. And it's cost effective, as we saw. It's very affordable. It's a great approach, and it's user friendly. I mean, it doesn't need much training, you know. It helps prevent user error, you know. So I just think it's the best approach, and I think everyone should consider purchasing one, especially if you're an entrepreneur or someone that's working with a lot of sensitive information, and it's affordable, and take advantage.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's it for us. Appreciate it. We'll, like I said, we'll provide all the resources, the links, and everything when we do the post. And like I said, if you have any questions, any thoughts, you know, comment, you know, let us know. Hit us up, and you know, we'll definitely. Or if you have suggestions for anything else, maybe other demos. I love demos. So
this was really fun.
Yeah, this was fun. So yeah, any suggestions for anything else, or any questions, concerns about anything as relates to cybersecurity, even HR, maybe get a demo from Dr. Lisa too. You know,
I can make it relate to school. It's all connected. It's all connected.
Right. Hey, we're ready. This is what we do. All right, y'all. You have a good one. I'll take it easy.
All right.